Hi everyone, this is Rosa Kelly and today I am here with a new fun interactive mini album tutorial. This is a large 8 by 10 landscape style, so let's get to it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited to share with you today a brand new tutorial. So this is a large 8 by 10. It's kind of like a folio. The way it feels like a big portfolio type of album. It has 3 very interactive signatures, and this is a tutorial that I'm actually doing for my magazine. So as some of you know, I just recently released my digital magazine. It's called Creating by Rosa Kelly. So on the magazine I will have step-by-step process for this album, so you don't need to take notes. It's right there, the cutting guide, the scoring guide, and everything, how you need to put it together so you can do it time and time again. Also, I have other different fun projects and little instructions on how I made them. So if you would like to check that out, I'm going to have a link down below. So this tutorial will be for the blank base, and later on I will come back and show you the complete album, once it looks all decorated. But the album has a lot of room for pictures, and I wanted to make sure that you have options that you can put big, large 8 by 10 pictures, or you can collage them so it's filled with different features. So let me see if I can quickly do a walkthrough. So over here I have like this little accordion. This opens down. On the tutorial it actually goes on the top, but then I put my page upside down, but it's okay. And then this over here, I haven't put magnets or anything, so this one has this large opening option, and then I will add magnets so we can keep that closed. And then this opens up like that, and again it has different things coming out. It's hard to show because it is such a large album. And so this one will go like so, and then again we'll put a magnet there. Here's a little opening, and it opens up like that. So it's kind of hard to see the interaction when it's all black, but once you add your design paper, you can definitely see all of the different places a lot clearer. So here I did 2 half pockets, and then this opens up like that. It's kind of like a day. You can use the photo mats to keep the page closed, and again you can use really large photo mats, and you can accommodate quite a lot in there. And then this next page you have like this large pull down, again with the large picture options. And on the inside back cover I have these different cascade elements for the page, and then this one over here has a little gusset, and of course we'll be adding magnets there. So I hope that you guys enjoy the tutorial, and let's get right to it. So we are going to start with some chipboard pieces. Now I already went ahead and cut 2 pieces at 8 1/4 by 10 1/2, and my album is actually going to be landscape style like this. I did one of these for my daughter's yearbook, not yearbook, but like her school album, and I really love how it looks on the portrait. You can fit all of those class pictures, those 8 by 10 that you get. So this is the one that I did for my daughter. And so what I love about having this landscape 8 by 10 is that you can put the school pictures that you receive or that you take, and these school pictures are 8 by 10, but I do trimming a little bit because the pages at somewhere 8 by 10. So this is her school album that I did to document her years, but it won't be exactly like this album because I never make the same album twice, but it will be pretty similar. So this is a large 8 by 10 with a 3-inch spine, and this one has 3 huge interactive signatures. So I'm thinking doing something very similar to that. So first I'm going to use some cardstock. Now the cardstock that I use for my binding is 65-pound cardstock. I don't like to use the heavyweight for binding because it tends to crack a lot, and this cardstock is a lot more flexible. So I'm just gonna join 3 pages together. Okay, so I went ahead and I joined my cardstock together. I actually had to use 4 sheets because this album will be very long, you know, because we're doing landscape style. And then I went ahead and put my double-sided tape on the 3 chipboard pieces, as you can see. So I'm going to start with the spine, and you want to make sure that you put your spine where the joint 2 pieces are, but you want to have that joint piece right on the center, because if you have it on the bending points, then your album is going to collapse and it's not going to be good. So I'm just gonna peel off the tape just like this, and we are going to place this down. So now we're going to do the same with the 2 large pieces. When we place this down, we're gonna make sure there is a little space in between the spine and the side. And same thing with this one. I already peeled the tape off, so again, I'm just leaving a little space, and this space is probably about 1/8 of an inch in between. So now that we have the spine placed down, I'm going to go ahead and trim some of this extra cardstock on the side. You want about 1 inch all around, just like that. I'm also going to go ahead and trim out these corners just like this, and you want to stay away from your chipboard about 1/8 of an inch again. So now we're gonna start folding down the sides, and you want to just first massage the cardstock a little bit until it finally bends all the way around. And once it does that, then you can go ahead and just press this down like this. Okay, and then we're gonna add some tape here as well. And then we're just going to peel off the tape and press this down. And I like doing the long sides first. So we're gonna do the other side, and then we're gonna come back and do the short sides. Okay, so now I have the 2 long sides down, and I'm gonna do the same with the short side. I'm gonna start massaging the cardstock, and we're gonna press down. For these ones, you want to make sure that you tag in the little corners here, because they will be a little bit pointy. So we're gonna do that before we glue this down. So now I'm just gonna add my tape. And now I'm just gonna take off the tape, or this little piece here, and we're just gonna fold this down, and we're gonna do the same on the other side. So then we're gonna press down here on the bending parts just to help your cardstock be more flexible at these points. And we're just gonna bend each side, and now we have the binding ready. So now let's work on the hinges. So for the hinges, we are going to need a piece of 7 3/4 by 11. So I am going to use that, and we are going to score. Let me grab my board. Here we go. So we're going to score at 1 inch. So this album is going to have 3 big signatures, and the signatures are going to be interactive, which means the pages are going to be heavy. So I want my hinges to be a big 1 inch, but I do want my gussets to be 3/4 inches, because 1 inch is too big for a gusset. So I'm going to start at 1 inch. Then I'm going to score at 3/4 inches. So this is 1 3/4. And then I'm going to do 1 inch, 1 inch, which is going to be 2 3/4 and 3 3/4. And again, this is all going to be detailed on the instructions on the magazine. So now we're going to score at 4.5 for the next gusset. And we're going to do 5.5 and 6.5 for the next hinge. And then we're going to do 7.25, 8.25, and 9.25. And then we're just going to finish up at 10. And there we go. So this first 1 inch that we have on the sides are going to be the part that goes attached to the side of the album, the side covers. So I'm just going to start after the second score line, which is the 1 3/4. So these two 1 inches, I'm going to basically pinch together and fold. And this is going to be my first hinge. Then I'm going to skip the next 3/4 inch and pinch the next two 1 inch together. And again, I'm just gonna press this down. And now we have 2 hinges. And then I'm going to skip the next 3/4 inches and do the same thing to the next 2 inches. So now we have our 3 1 inch hinges ready. So I'm just going to press this one down as well. And then you're going to turn this around and you want to join these two together. So I'm just going to do that with my glue. Okay, so I'm just going to press this down and continue with the next one. Press this down. And I like using glue instead of tape on this step because I noticed that the glue is a lot stronger than the tape. So now we have our hinges ready and we're just going to glue these onto our spine. Now you can also use double-sided tape, that will work as well. So what I like to do is I'm going to make sure that our first score line that we did at the 1 inch is going to line up with this bending line, and same thing with the last 1 inch here will also line up. So we're just going to make sure it is nice and center, and then you also want to center it up and down. So I am going to be using my glue for this step, like I said. So I'm just going to see what is wrong with this. Okay, and you do want to make sure that you put enough glue, and if you're using glue instead of tape, make sure that you allow your glue to dry completely before you start folding the sides, you know, of the book. So I'm just going to continue here with my glue. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to line up the score line with the bending lines, right like so. And then I'm just going to press this down and I'm gonna let this dry for a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to just grab my ruler and I'm gonna hold it right on the bending point and just help it bend like that. And since we already have the score lines, it should go pretty quickly and very smooth. So just like that. Okay, so now that we have the base and the hinges, we can start working on the pages. So for the page construction, I am going to cut 6 pieces of cardstock at 10 inches by 8.5, and since my page already measures 8.5, I'm just gonna leave it like that. So again, 10 inches, and we are going to do 6 of these. So now that I have all the pieces cut out, I'm going to place these on my scoreboard along the 8.5 inch side, and I'm going to score at 8 inches, or you can score at 1/2 inch, it's the same. And I'm gonna do the same to all of them. So now we're gonna fold along the score line, and I'm gonna press this down. And I'm going to use my double-sided tape. Now this double-sided tape is 3/8 of an inch. You can also use the 1/2 inch score tape. So I'm just going to press this down and cut it. And for one page, we are going to need 2. So for one of the signatures. So I'm gonna do the same to this one and add my tape. Just like that. And then I'm going to put these two together, basically back to back, and we are going to join them like so. So first I'm going to peel off just a little bit of the tape, and then we're gonna make sure these two lined up. So I'm gonna use the one that we didn't peel off the tape to line these up. And once I have the corners pretty much matching, I am going to press down on the sticky side and remove the tape. Okay, so now we're going to flip this over, and I'm going to open that up for a minute. Take off the tape here. And now we're just going to press this down and remove the tape. So 2 pieces of cardstock will give us 1 signature, and I'm just gonna do the same to the other 2. Okay, so now we have the 3 base pages ready, and we're gonna start working on the album page by page now. So on the first signature, we will have page 1, and the back side will be page 2, and then we have 3 and 4 and so on. And then at the end, we're going to work on the inside covers for the front and the back. So let's start with page 1. So all of the cardstock that we're gonna use from now on is going to be 110 pounds. So I am going to start with a piece of cardstock. Now all my cardstock measures 8.5 by 11, so we're just going to assume that's what we're going to start with. So I am going to cut these at 9 3/4 by 8.5, which this already is, and I am going to score this piece 1/2 inch along the 8.5 inch side. So again, you can do at 1/2 inch, but I find it easier if I do at 8 inches because I can hold this down. Okay, so we're gonna fold along the line, and we are going to be adding some double-sided tape on this 1/2 inch flap, just like that. I'm going to cut 2 pieces at 7 inches by 10.5. So I'm going to need 2 of these, and we're going to score these pieces at 5 and at 10, and I'm going to do the same with the other one, 5 and 10, and we're going to fold along the score line and add our double-sided tape. Okay, and then we're also going to fold this in like so. So we're going to have a piece like that, and then we have the hinge on one side, and I'm gonna do the same here. And now I'm going to bring my page 1, and we're gonna put it together. So I'm going to start with the first piece that we prepare, and I'm going to peel off the tape, and we're just going to line this up along the top of the page, and we're gonna make sure that it's center because this will be a little bit smaller than your base page. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take off the tape, press down, then I'm going to open these up, and I'm going to place one of the pages on the left and one on the right. So I guess it doesn't matter which way, you want to make sure that you have it kind of like this so we can place them down. So let me first take out the tape on one side. let's line it up and center it up and down. And then we're gonna press down on the sticky side and remove the tape. And then I'm gonna do the same here. Just like so. Okay. And so now we're gonna close this first, and then we're gonna close the sides. So we have like a little accordion gatefold and a surprise page in there, and that is our page 1. Okay, so now we're gonna work on page number 2. For this, I'm going to need 2 pieces of cardstock, and I'm going to cut them at 8 by 10. So I'm going to do the same here. And then I'm going to score these pieces at 1/2 inch along the 10-inch side. So I'm just gonna do 1/2 inch here and the same here. And I like creating these large areas to put pictures, like I said, because sometimes you have those, you know, big portraits and you just want to use the most of it. Or if you don't, then you can just collage smaller pictures. So I'm gonna fold along the score lines, and I'm gonna add my double-sided tape in here. So now I'm going to bring my base page, which is the first one that we worked on. I just have it on the back, and I'm going to place one of these large pieces along the side. So I'm just gonna do the left side here. Let's line it up on the corner, make sure the sides are even, and then we can go ahead and remove the tape. And then I'm going to place the second one right on top of the first one that we did. Okay, so I'm just going to again take out some of this tape and then line it up to the one we just added, just like that. And then we're gonna press down and remove the tape. So for this page we have one big accordion full type of page, so you can create one really large scene, or you can collage different pages or different pictures in there as well. Okay, so now let's move on to page number 3. So for page number 3, I have some different elements going on. So I am going to start with a 10.5 by 8 piece of cardstock. Then I'm going to cut another piece at 5.5. And from these two, I'm going to cut one at 8 inches. And I'm going to leave the other one the way it is. And we are going to score these pieces. So I'm going to start with the one that we cut at 8 inches. I'm going to put it on my board along the 5.5 inch side, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, just like that. And the one that measures 8.5 by 5.5, we're going to place it along the 8.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to bring my page base, and I'm going to start with the large one. Now I'm going to place this along the right side. So I'm just going to take off the tape again and line it up along the right, just like this. Okay, and you will see that this one will cover the complete page here, compared to the one we did before that I had 1/2 inch extra. And that's because I want this to be more seamless and kind of looks like, oh, there's nothing there, but then surprise, it opens up. So I think that's really fun to do. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the one that have the tape along the top, and I'm gonna place this one on the inside flap here, just along the top, just like this. Take off that tape, so this will open up like so. And this other one I am going to place along the left on the base page, just like this. So then this page will look like it's a gatefold because we have the line down the middle, but then when we open it, this flap opens to the side, and then we have this large panel, and then this also will open up. So I think it's really fun, and again, we have a lot of options to put really large pictures on this album. So now we're gonna work on page number 4. For this page, I'm going to cut a new piece of cardstock. We're gonna cut this at 4.5 by 11, and this piece we're going to score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides to create a pocket that we're going to add into the base. So let me grab my scoreboard, and I'm going to do 1/2, then I'm going to do 1/2 along the other side, and I'm gonna flip this, and we're going to do 1/2 all the way down, just like so. And we're gonna cut the corners just like this to make the pockets you know, not too bulky on the corners. And then we're gonna fold along the lines and add our score tape. Okay, so I have my tape down, and now I'm just going to line this up with the corners and place it right on the page. And now we have a pocket here. So then I'm going to cut another piece of cardstock at 10 inches, and this is going to be by 8.5, and we're going to do 1/2 inch along the 8.5 inch side. So let me bring my board, and I'm just going to do 1/2 inch on one side, and then we're gonna place these along the top here of this page. So let me add my tape. Okay, so now I'm going to place this page along the top, just like this. So make sure it's all lined up, and then we're just gonna remove the tape, just like so. So now we open this big page and we have a pocket, but I want to build a couple more things on this. So since we have this large piece that, you know, scrap piece from the pockets, I want to use it here. So I'm gonna cut this piece. I believe, let's see, this measures 4 inches, so I'm gonna cut this at 9 inches. So this will be 4 by 9, and I'm going to score 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Okay, so I have my 3 score lines, and I also trim the corners here. And now I'm just gonna fold along the score lines and add my double-sided tape. Okay, so this pocket is going to go here on this page, so I'm just gonna put it on the left side. So let me go ahead and take my tape off, and I'm just gonna take all 3 pieces, but you can do one at a time and line it up if it's easier for you. Okay, so I'm just gonna match up the corners just like that, and carefully place it down. Okay, so here we go. So now we have a pocket, an opening, another pocket, and just to make this super fun, I'm going to make another flap here on the side. So I am gonna cut this piece at 9.5 by 6.5, and I'm going to score 1/2 inch along the 9.5 inch side. So here we go. So I'm going to do 1/2 inch here. And then we're just gonna add our double-sided tape. And then I'm just going to peel off the tape. And we're gonna place this on the right side. And we're going to center this up and down, just like so. So now we have this piece, this large flap that we can add pictures on. And what I like about this is it's going to keep anything that you put in this pocket nice and secure. And then we have this opening and even another pocket to add all kinds of photo mats. And then you can add magnets for your closure. So I really like how this page turned out. So now let's work on page number 5. So on page number 5, I am going to cut a piece of cardstock at 8 and by 5.5. So we are going to have these 2 pieces. And then I'm also going to cut another piece, and let me cut this one at 4 inches. Again, I'm going to do at 5.5. Okay, so I am going to score the first 2 pieces at 1/2 inch along the 5.5 inch side. So let's do these 2. And the smaller ones, I am going to also score 1/2 inch along 5.5. And then I'm also going to score 1/2 inch along 4 inches, just like this. So we're gonna do the same here, just like that. So now we have these 4 pieces, and I am going to fold along the score lines and add my double-sided tape as well. Okay, so now we're gonna put this page together. I'm going to start with the 2 5.5 by 8 inches, and these are going to basically make like a gatefold. So I'm just going to remove my tape and place one on each side of the page. So we're gonna do this one first. Take off that tape, and then we're going to do the other side. So let's line it up. See, okay, and we're gonna take off that tape, and now we have our gatefold. And now we're gonna do our 1/2 pocket. So I just realized that this one is fine, but for this one we should have folded, you know, we're using the other side. So I needed to put my double-sided tape on the opposite side. So something to keep in mind, you want to hold it like this before you add your tape. So I'm just going to add more tape on that one. But so basically we're going to take out the tape, and we're just going to put it on top of the flaps here, one on each side. Okay, so now I added my 1/2 pockets on my flaps. So now we have like a gatefold and this pocket. And when we add a piece of, you know, like a large photo mat, this will keep this gatefold closed. Now you can add multiple ones. You can also add more magnets if you like it very nice and tight. And then we can open it, and then we have room for a large picture, which I love. So now we're gonna work on page number 6. So for page number 6, I'm going to do 2 pieces of 8 by 10. And we're basically going to do the same thing that we did for, or kind of the same thing that we did for page number 2, I think. But instead of making it open to the side, we're gonna make it do it up and down, and I'll show you what I mean. So these 2 pieces, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch along the 8.5 inch side. So I'm going to do 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, or 8 inches, which is what I'm marking here. And then we're gonna fold along the score lines and add our tape. Now we're gonna start with the first piece. I'm gonna take off the tape, And the first piece is going to go on the base page, and we're going to place it along the bottom. Okay, just like that. And the second one we are going to place on top of the first page, not on the base itself. We're gonna place it in here. You could do it here if you like. I mean, it still works. I just like having this big accordion fold that will open down. So that's what I'm gonna do. Remove the tape and place it on the one that we just added, just like this. Okay, so now we have this big long piece that opens down like so. And just to give you an example, let me show you the page similar to that here on this album. And you could use the large area for a large picture, but you don't have to. You can also break it down. So here, for example, I added another piece of cardstock and just created this little flap on top here. So you can very well use the large area, or you can break it down, decorate it. So here I made like a pocket on the back, and this whole page opens like that, like the accordion. And this one, I think I made it to open from the top, and here I made it to open from the bottom. So because I like how it extends down more. I think it's more, you know, it's more fun when it comes down super long. This one will come up super long. And then I created another pocket here. This one's a little bit different. So this one I did the pocket here, and then even within the pocket I created fun little openings, which would just be you know, it depends how you want to decorate, if you want to keep building. Now notice that when I built these are just thin cardstock. They're not, you know, the heavy weight. That's just an added on, because you also don't want to put too much weight or too much bulk onto your page. Okay, so now let's move on to the inside covers. So now we're gonna work on the inside covers. So I'm gonna start with a sheet of 8.5 by 11, and I'm just gonna trim this at 8 inches. Just like that. And this is going to be for the inside front cover. So then I am going to score. So along the 11 inches, let me grab my score tool. We are going to score at 1/2 inch and at 1/4 inch. So this will be 1/2 and 3/4. And this little quarter here is just to give this page a little gusset. So I'm gonna fold along these 2 lines, and I am actually going to do 2 of that. So this is the second one. I'm also going to score at 1/2 and 3/4 inches. Okay, so now we're gonna fold along the score lines, and we're going to put our double-sided tape, and I'm gonna add this to my book. So this like so. And well, I didn't make it long enough, but it's okay. So what we're gonna do is just place one on the left. So for now I'm just gonna lay this flat, this little gusset, and I'm gonna line this up on the left inside cover. Okay, and now we're gonna open that up, and we are going to do the same with the other one. Okay, so now this one also I'm going to lay flat the little gusset for now, and we're gonna place it next to that score line that we have, that bending point. Make sure you don't put it on top of that. So we're gonna stay away from that line, probably about 1/8 of an inch or let's do a 1/4 inch. Okay, so now that I have it, I'm gonna place that down, and then now we can go ahead and like make our gusset perpendicular to the bottom, just like that. So you're just gonna stand that up, and this is gonna close one on top of each other. And let me give you a look from the top. You see that we have that little gusset there, and that is because on the inside of these two, this is almost like a little folio in a way. We're going to build here. So I'm going to first cover the back, and for that I'm going to use a piece. I cut one out, but I think this one's too big. So make sure this piece measures 8, and I think we cut this at 10 inches. Okay, so let me double check on that. Yeah, okay, so 8 by 10, and this will fit on the back like so. And then this piece is also going to hold your gussets here together for these pages. It's also going to hold your hinges here, this long piece that we have coming in here. So this piece is very important. It's going to be you know, give you a lot of support. So make sure we put a lot of glue, especially on the edges. Okay, so now I have the bottom glued in, and so inside of there you can add all kinds of different interactions. So I'm just going to do 2 sheets here of 8 by 5, I think they measure. Yes, so 8 by 5. I'm just using my scraps, so that's why I wasn't sure what size these were. So these are 5 by 8. I'm going to score 1/2 inch along the 8-inch side. I'm going to do this for both. So then I'm going to use another piece. This one measures 10 by 8 1/4, and I'm going to score 1/2 inch along the 8 1/4 inch side. So I have these 3 pieces. I went ahead and added my double-sided tape. So now we're gonna put it together here. So I am going to place this first one on the top. So let's open this tape. I'm gonna line it up just like this. Okay, and take off that tape. And then these 2 I am going to do along the bottom. So I'm going to place one here, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to place the other one right in here. So basically on top of this hinge that we added for the top. And make sure you're not touching any bending points. So just below the bending line. So now we have 2 flaps like this. So this will close up like that. And then we have this one. And then we have the 2 holding. So we have lots of room for pictures. Then we also have, you know, enough gussets. So even if you want to add maybe another feature here after you add your paper, you should be, you know, you should have enough room for that. Okay, so now let's work on the back. So for this page, we are going to need first an 8 by 10, and this is what is going to go on the bottom or on the back. And then I'm going to cut 1 piece of 8 by 10. So let's see here, 8 by 10. Whoops. Then I'm going to do 8 by 9. So here's 9 by 8. And then I'm going to do 8 by 8. So we're going down on the side, kind of like a cascade. Okay, and then I am going to need another one that's going to be 8 by 8 3/4. Okay, and again, everything will be detailed on the magazine if you want like a cutting guide, and it'll be easy to follow. Okay, so I'm going to start with this last piece that we cut, and I'm going to score this at 1/2 and 3/4, and this is the one that measures 8 3/4. All the other ones, 8 by 8, I'm just going to score at 1/2. 8 by 9 also at 1/2, and one of the 8 by 10s also at 1/2. The other 8 by 10 we are going to leave it as it is. So I have all my pieces with double-sided tape, and now we're going to put it together. So I am going to start with this 8 by 10 that we score 1/2 inch on the side, and I'm going to remove the tape, and this one we are just going to line up right next to that bending line. So again, you want to stay about a quarter inch away from it, and just like this, and then I'm just gonna take this down. Then I'm going to continue with the smaller, the one that's slightly smaller, not that one, the 9 by 8, which will be this one. And I'm just gonna peel the tape off and place it right on top of the one that we just put. So just like this. And then we're going to go with the 8 by 8 and do the same thing. Place it right on top. Here we go. I think right here. Okay, so now we have this 1, 2, 3 pages. We're gonna open that up, and now we're gonna place the one that has the 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch, so the one with the little gusset, and we're going to place this one on the right. So for now, we're just gonna press down the gusset so we can line this up, and here we go. Okay, so now we're gonna open this one, and we are just going to glue the 8 by 10 on the back here. Okay, so now we are done with this back inside cover. So basically this page on the right will have this little gusset to hold this cascade element together, because this one will get a little volume after we add the paper. This one wouldn't get as much. And then we're just gonna add a closure here, maybe with some magnets. Okay, so now we're ready to add the pages together to the album. I'm going to add some double-sided tape here on my hinges on both sides. So I went ahead and added the tape. I did add 2 rows of the tape because you want this to be stronger. This is why we made the hinge 1 inch. But you don't want to put tape all the way against the spine. So you want to give it about, let's say, a 1/4 inch or something like that. So same thing on the back. Okay, so I did put 2 rows, but they're kind of overlapping each other a little bit. So I am going to peel off this tape. So let me start with this one, and then so we're kind of gonna peel both at the same time, and then we're gonna grab the first signature, and let's find the center, which is here. Let's see here on this side. And then we're just gonna insert, and let's see. So again, make sure you don't press it all the way till the ends to the spine. I think that should be fine. And then we're just going to remove. Okay, so now we're gonna turn this to the other side, and we are going to take out the tapes. So remember there's two, so we have to pull both of these out. And now we're gonna press down on that. So now we have the first signature, and we're just gonna continue doing that with the other two. And there you go. Now we are done making our album. So now you are free to decorate any which way you desire. And I think the album turned out really cool. Like it has all these different places to add pictures. So I'm going to be decorating my album, and I'll come back with the walkthrough so you can see it. And I hope that you guys enjoy the tutorial. I hope that you visit my magazine, and I hope that you like all the different projects that I put in there. This is one of them, but you will find many other inspirations and process, and I'm very excited. I'm very happy how it turned out. So yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.